Hey, welcome. We're about to jump into a conversation that feels like it's been ripped right out of 1995. But here's the thing, it's happening right now. We're not talking about the early days of websites. We're talking about something way, way bigger. The identity of literally trillions of AI agents, and more importantly, who gets to build the rule book for the next internet.
Okay, so to really get this, we have to go back in time for a second. Picture it, 1995. The very first commercial DNS server for .com goes live. Now, the crazy thing is, the engineer whose work kicked off this whole explainer was actually there at AT&T Bell Labs when it all went down. He talks about it like the birth of the commercial web, a total digital Wild West where addresses, names, and identities were just up for grabs. That exact moment, that feeling of a new frontier just cracking open, that's exactly where we are right now with AI.
And that leads us to the absolute core question of everything we're talking about today. We, as people and as businesses, we got .com. It just became the default, the universal address for the human side of the internet. But now we are standing at the edge of an AI-centric internet, one that's going to be filled with trillions of autonomous agents. So what's their digital address? What's going to be their .com?
Now, this isn't just some fun thought experiment. We are literally facing what you could call the trillion agent problem. A brand new, non-human internet is starting to bubble up, and the scale of it is, well, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
No, seriously, we're talking about hundreds of trillions of autonomous AI agents. Think about them like digital employees. Bots that are going to be out there negotiating contracts, managing global supply chains, executing financial trades, all on their own. They're coming online as we speak, and every single one of them needs a unique, verifiable way to be identified.
And here's the most crucial part. This new internet works in a totally different way. See, the old internet, the one we all grew up with, was built for humans to browse stuff, to look at content and find information. This new agent-centric internet, it's all about machines authenticating each other, executing incredibly secure transactions, and performing tasks. That requires a fundamentally different kind of plumbing, a much more secure and robust identity infrastructure.
This quote just nails it perfectly. A prompt is basically just a request. You're asking for information. But a passport? A passport is a verifiable credential. It proves who you are. It grants you access. For an AI to do any real, meaningful work, to get into your bank account, book a flight for you, or represent a whole company, it needs a trusted, verifiable passport. It can't just have a conversation.
If we don't design this system on purpose with a plan, we risk playing a really dangerous game called sovereign roulette. This is a scenario where the identity layer for every AI agent on the planet could accidentally end up being controlled by the laws and the political whims of one single country. Just imagine that. The entire global AI economy hanging by a thread dependent on one nation's agenda.
Now, what's so wild about all of this is that we already have a real-world accidental test case for this exact problem. It's the story of Anguilla, a tiny little island in the Caribbean that just so happens to run the .ai domain. It's become this bizarre accidental prototype for this whole idea.
Just look at these numbers. They're insane. Anguilla has a population of about 15,000 people. 15,000! But because they control the .ai country code, the money they get from AI startups registering domains now makes up a mind-blowing 16% of their entire GDP. It funds things like their public health system. A tiny nation has accidentally become a central bank for the AI gold rush.
So, the Anguilla model is this fascinating double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's incredible proof that, yes, domain revenue can absolutely be used to fund public good, almost like a form of universal basic income. But on the other hand, it's the textbook definition of sovereign roulette, a single, non-neutral point of failure for what is quickly becoming a globally critical resource. Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? This is where we get to the really exciting part, the blueprint for what's next. The key is we have to stop thinking about the AI apps and start thinking about the infrastructure. It's all about selling the shovels for this new gold rush.
The NVIDIA analogy is just perfect for this, right? During a gold rush, the people who make the most reliable fortunes aren't the prospectors desperately searching for gold. It's the people selling the picks and shovels. The argument here is that the most lasting, durable value in this new AI era won't come from building the next viral app, but from building that foundational identity layer, the shovels, that every single AI agent is going to need to function.
And this actually lays out a really clear, logical path forward. Step 1, you establish a dedicated identity layer just for these agents. Step 2, you make absolutely sure it's governed globally and neutrally, just like the internet itself, not by a single country or a single company. And then step 3, you intentionally design it from the ground up as a public benefit utility, channeling all that revenue towards the public good.
And hey, this isn't just some abstract concept. There are already real, concrete proposals on the table for new top-level domains, or TLDs, that could become this identity layer. We're talking about names like .agent, .agi, or .robots. Any one of these could become the new digital address for the entire agent economy.
And that brings us to the real heart of the issue, the philosophy of it all. This isn't just about tech or economics. This is about consciously and deliberately designing our digital destiny. It's about deciding, right now, what the purpose of this unbelievably vast new infrastructure should even be.
I absolutely love this quote. The ultimate goal here isn't just to build smarter, faster machines for the sake of it. The real killer app for this new economy is to build a system that actively supports human welfare, that provides a global safety net, to build an infrastructure of, well, care.
The most ambitious vision ties all of this directly to funding a worldwide universal basic income. Just imagine a system where the trillions of tiny transactions made by AI agents every second automatically contribute to a global fund, a fund that supports every single human being on this planet. The automation economy would finally be paying a dividend back to all of humanity.
And here's why this is so urgent. This is not a debate for some far-off future. ICANN, the organization that governs all the internet domain names, has its next big application round in 2026. The decisions made then could literally lock in the structure of the AI internet for generations to come. The time for this discussion, for this debate, is right now, before that window slams shut.
And that right there is the ultimate call to action. We have this brief, critical moment to be the architects of this new world. We can proactively design the infrastructure with real intention and with care. Or we can just sit back and passively let it be designed by default and have to live with the consequences, whatever they may be.
And so, we end right back where we started, with a question. But this time, it's a question for you. Who should govern the identity of AI? A single corporation? A single country? Or should it be a global public utility, designed from day one for the benefit of all humanity? The choice that we all make in the next couple of years, well, it's going to define everything.